Do y'all daydream about the apocalypse too?
It feels like the male fantasy.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Hey guys, my name is Half-Cocked Hilbilly, and today I am so excited to be talking to y'all about urban scavenging in the apocalypse. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of the video, I want to go over something really exciting. So I just recently hit 1,000 subscribers. Now I'm a believer. And I feel the best way to celebrate with y'all is to give back. So I'm going to be doing a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Now, one of you lucky winners is going to be taking home a 511 Rush 12 in Kangaroo.
No, I like it. This is brilliant. But I like this.
The way you could win this awesome backpack is make sure you like, leave a comment, and either subscribe to me or follow me on Instagram. Sunday, November 2nd, I'm going to announce the winner. So like I said earlier, this week we're going to be talking about urban scavenging. The situation we're in is a war-torn country. It's either early apocalypse or in the midst of a civil or some sort of a global war where we've been heavily attacked by enemy adversaries. The objective of you and your team is to get in and out of town as fast as possible. You're trying to put as much supplies on your back as you can. In this situation, you're not necessarily trying to hide the fact that you're armed. You're just trying to sneak around. And if you have to fight, you're ready for it. So before we hit the range, I want to walk through what I'm going to take with me, and then we'll see how it performs once we get there. So first things first, let's talk about the fun stuff.
Guns.
Now, before we actually bring any guns on screen, I do feel that I need to say, one, unless we're at the firing range, all my guns have been unloaded and double checked to make sure that they're safe. Number two is, all of the magazines that I have in this video are YouTube compliant, and I have modified them to meet the YouTube community guidelines. With that being said, let's talk about my first tool. The long gun I've decided to take with me on this mission is going to be my 16-inch free-floated AR. Besides the rifle, I got a Streamlight ProTac HLX, a 1-4 LVPO, a VFG, and a 20-round magazine. The reason I chose this specific rifle is because it has a free float handguard. The only point of contact that the barrel has with the rest of the gun is on the receiver. So this handguard just protects the barrel. So if you have to lean on any debris or brace on a windowsill or doorway, it'll help mitigate point of impact shift. I chose a 16-inch barrel for a couple of reasons. First is it has a good compromise between muzzle velocity and maneuverability. It'd be much easier for me to reach out past 100 yards with this barrel length. Because the urban or suburban environment is much more diverse when it comes to ranges, this barrel length is kind of the best of both worlds and will make my job a lot easier.
But remember, some moments require more than muscle.
The next is, of course, we do live in a lawful society, and the 16-inch barrel is the shortest barrel length that will let me do pretty much anything to my rifle without taking into account NFA laws. And of course, finally, the reason I started out with a 20-round magazine is because it's much shorter and more maneuverable. I'm not looking to start a fight here. I only have firearms in case I need to protect myself. But theoretically, from all the studies that I've done on self-defense, if 20 rounds doesn't do it, it's at least enough to get me out of the line of fire so I can reload. The next thing I'm going to bring with me here is my Onward Research Recce Rig. I have a full combat loadout. I have 6 magazines, and I have my pistol, 2 pistol magazines, and a flashlight. The pistol I'm bringing today is a Glock 23 Gen 4.
This is my Glock 40. This is my problem solver right here.
It's chambered in 40 cal. I just like it for the capacity and the fact that Glocks are incredibly reliable. Pistol caliber is completely up to your own taste. I didn't necessarily choose this gun for any reason other than the fact that it's the gun that called to me today, so that's what I'm packing. Alright guys, now that we've covered the fun stuff, I just want to go over the other gear I'd bring with me in my backpack real quick. As I said earlier, our main mission is a supply run. So in order to do that, I brought my backpacking backpack. This is a 70 plus 5 liter backpack. It's great for storing the stuff that I would need to keep me alive. And it also has really nice thick straps and a good hip belt if I did hit the jackpot and I needed to haul a lot of weight out. One thing I would change about this, if it was truly the end of the world or a war zone, I'd either hit this thing with some camouflage spray paint or I'd put some sort of a cloth cover to it because this blue and the highlighted strips are very noticeable. Now guys, some things I would put in my pack that I'm not going to show here. Hydration bladder full of water. Make sure you bring enough for 2 days. Toilet paper or baby wipes. And maps of the area. And then of course a compass to accompany the map. The first creature comfort that I would bring is a blanket. This happens to be a moving blanket. If you have a wool blanket, that'd be even better. Camping pillow. Have an MRE. These do self-heat, so you don't need a fire. If you absolutely needed something to cook, a jet boil with some camping fuel would do the trick. What I will say is this plus camping fuel is going to take up a lot of room in your bag. Next thing I would bring is extra lights. I just need a headlamp for something, or there's even a night vision mode on here with red light. This is my EDC light. It's a Coast XP6R. I also like to bring a Streamlight Pro Tac as my handheld light. I can't find it right now. I've been using it so much. It's in one of my vehicles or in a bag somewhere.
The only problem is, I can't remember what I've forgotten.
That's why I bring extra lights, because even if I don't have my primary, I always have a couple backups. I also like to bring my Leatherman Wave, medical supplies if you need them. If you are able to bring a trauma kit, I would recommend that as well. Adjustable wrench, channel locks, some sort of a pry bar, or even a bigger crowbar like this. Now, last couple things here, I do have a radio with a foldable antenna in case me and my team do get separated. These Baofeng UV5Rs are ham radios, and then even the ones you can get at Best Buy or Tractor Supply use radio waves that anyone could access. So if you do talk on these, assume that someone's listening. Now, as far as tools go, the last thing I'll take is a pair of binoculars. If you do have the room or you're willing to make the sacrifice for something like a spotting scope that can go out past 40 times magnification, that could be even better. All right, so now you know what I'm carrying to protect myself, you know what's in my bag. Now, what am I gonna wear? If you can't figure out what the weather's gonna be beforehand, i.e. there's probably not gonna be the internet, and if you can't figure it out through the ham radio, make sure it's season specific and prepare to get wet.
Will you take a look at that? Pretty pathetic, huh?
You'll see me here, I'm dressed in just my work jeans and a lightweight long sleeve military thermal type wear. I filmed this in late September, so we have kind of hot days and cool nights. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it doesn't, and it's really hard to gauge what the day is gonna be like. I also brought this face shield to obscure my face. I'm not necessarily worried about facial identification. I'm more worried about just someone seeing my face in a window. Bare minimum, I would stick to long sleeves on both ends, just because that's going to protect your skin, and especially when we don't have modern medicine, infections could be deadly. The last thing that I am going to pack here is a pair of gloves. I do prefer thin leather gloves, but today we're going to do some mechanics M-Pack, as those will probably protect me a lot more with glass or other sharp objects. So now that I have my theoretical loadout, let's go test it out at the range just to see if it works. A couple things that I could already note about my kit is one, I double stacked my AR mags here, so going prone is not very comfortable. Two, I have this face covering, which looks cool for the video. It makes everything kind of hot, and my ear protection doesn't seal as well. Luckily, I got two things going for me. One, I got foam earplugs in here. Two, my ears already ring so bad that I can't hear anything with my phone earplugs in. Also, I am using my backpack that I brought with me. In the field, if the opportunity did come to use my pack as a rest, I absolutely would do that. Alright, let's go check our results real quick. Alright guys, so this is just at 50 yards to make sure I'm not slinging lead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's my first group. My second group was this 3. My last group was 3 shots, 1, 2, 3. So let's see what it does at 100 yards. Alright, now we're going to go for a 100-yard shot once again just to check our zero. We got our YouTube compliant 20-round magazine loaded up with Winchester White Box M855. Let's see what we can do. I realized I didn't line my targets up right, so now I got to move around. My reticle was bigger than the dot I made on the target, so let's see how I did. If I didn't do well, still my fault. Let's check it out.
One eternity later.
I got it shooting a lot better. Took me a minute, so let's run some drills. Talked about before, I've been shooting groups here and I've discovered a few things that I don't like about my kit so far. Number one, this face covering looks really cool. Helps hide my face, not my chest hair.
looks really cool, but it's really hot. It holds a lot of moisture. And if you're running around, it's uncomfortable. The next thing is these mags here. It's really great having a full combat load, but it's really annoying. What I actually might do is just stow some of these in my bag. That way, potentially, if it does hit the fan, I could always pull them out. I'm finding that this bulk is making it hard to move. Before we go, I'd be remiss if we didn't do our standard ballistic tests here. First off, here we got my AR, chambered in 5.56. Let's see what it does. Next up, we got a Glock 23, 40 Smith & Wesson. All right, let's head back to the studio. All right, guys, so I'm back from the range, and I would definitely set everything up a little bit different. So like I touched on earlier, I really just hated using those gloves, and I actually ditched them just to make my life a little bit easier on the range. If I had to redo my gloves, I would just go with my thin leather work gloves. While they are much thinner, they're way more dexterous. Another huge problem is the lack of a holster that I have for my Glock 23. Because of the hip pads of my backpack, I really could not have anything on my hips. That includes gun, knives, flashlight. It all had to be either in my chest or on the side pockets of my backpack. If I had my choice to do this over again, I'd probably either get a vertical pistol holster here, or I'd try to get a thigh holster. I really just was not enjoying trying not to flag myself every time I reholstered my pistol in a magazine pouch. Just touch upon that magazine issue again. If I could add a bandolier to my setup, that would be really nice. That way, if it could just be accessible on the side of my backpack, so I could still have those magazines with me, but not have to go into my backpack to reach them, that would help. And they also wouldn't be rattling around as much. I also found that my recce rig wasn't super stable when I had all the nylon stretched to the max. It did much better once you folded everything in on itself. So just so y'all can see what I'm saying, say you're in a reload and you went to stash this empty magazine back in your pouch. If you open it back up, it's really difficult to reinsert this magazine one-handed. If you were to fold the nylon in on itself like this, and you just want one mag at a time, it's way easier to manipulate. And the same goes for PMags as well. The reason I went with an aluminum magazine over a PMag is these aluminum magazines are just a little bit thinner, especially at the base, so it's easier to double stack them in your mag carrier. What I don't like about them is that they're noisy, and PMags are just not that way, especially when they're loaded. Just so everyone knows, this rifle is a Anderson AM-15 upper. Rest in peace, Anderson. They don't make these anymore. Those uppers perform really well for me. It's been completely reliable. I haven't put a ton of rounds through it, but this is a budget AR. Based off internet lore that these basically fall apart as soon as you pull the trigger, it's worked great. One of my really good buddies purchased the Gen 2 of this upper. It's called the Utility, and for whatever reason, they didn't tighten down the barrel nut. So the barrel literally walked off on him at the range. I'm really glad nothing happened, because that could have been bad. Anyway, I've been talking about this rifle and my pistol and why I brought them. I want to talk about some honorable mentions. So my first honorable mention, which has been featured many times here on the channel, is my Mossberg 590 A1 Magpul Edition. This is an 8+1, 12 gauge pump action shotgun with Magpul furniture, the XS ghost ring and front post sight here. What I really love about this gun is not only the performance and the build quality, but it still has the soul that a lot of older guns have. Now, if you've ever been behind a quality old school gun like a revolver or a bolt action rifle, or even a 22.
An elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
You'll know what I mean. There's just this intangible quality that makes the gun feel like it has its own personality. With that being said, 2 3/4 and 3-inch 12 gauge shells are absolutely nothing to turn your nose up at. It's basically the ballistic equivalent of, oh Lord, he coming! 12 gauge slugs and buckshot absolutely just demolish most things that they hit. And if I knew my ranges were limited to 100 yards and under, I would strongly consider this pump action shotgun. But because I need the flexibility of an AR-15, I'm gonna opt for that. While shotgun cards do allow you to carry ammunition in a chest rig like this, just your old school shotgun belts will also work to carry 25 shells, plus anything else you can throw in your bag or in your pockets. Another honorable mention is a little old school. This here is your old school tactical carbine. It's a Marlin Model 336, chambered in 30-30. 30-30 isn't exactly the best and the brightest ballistically,
but it has definitely put down a lot of big game animals over the years. Not only that, but like your 12 gauge shotgun, it's easy to top off here with this side gate, and you can mount an optic on top if you want. But these Skinner sights are awesome. What is nice too is, unlike a bolt action rifle, this has lever action, which means that you could cycle this gun pretty fast. And if you did have access to any Western wear, you can find belts, bandoliers, or slings with bullet loops, and you can carry a ton of ammunition on you. I just want to leave you with some advice. So guys, in the world where you have endless entertainment at your fingertips, try something else, learn a hobby. A few years ago, I picked up leatherwork, and it came from a place where I wanted to make my own gear instead of just pay someone else to make it for me. This holster for my end frame was one of the first things I ever made, and it's not perfect, but I'm really proud of it. And one of my most recent projects was this IWB holster for my SW99. And I'm really proud of this thing. I think it came out beautifully. Not only is it something to get you off the screen, but it also can give you a point of pride as well. All right, everyone. Once again, my name's Half-Cocked Hilbilly. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget about that giveaway. I can't wait to see y'all next Sunday.